Today we just want to kind of go through the 4 things to consider when booking your wedding venue, specifically from the perspective of the photo and video world. I'm going to throw in some DJ stuff as well from the audio perspectives. I'm Carson Bruce, been a DJ for over 10 years now. Love what I do, been doing it since high school. Also been doing videos for about 5 years now. And I'm with Evan Lanier, who he's been doing this for a few decades or just over a decade?
Over a decade.
Okay, yeah. I don't know if you've gotten to the 20-year mark yet or not.
3 years.
Okay, he's close to 20 years of filming weddings, and those are some pretty big things to consider. The photos will be things that you'll keep forever. You'll frame it on your wall at home. You'll have a photo album, whether it be digital or physical. Photos will last a long time. The videos are also precious, and the DJ is fun, entertainment, the band, the audio. First thing we're going to talk about is layout. Now, all 4 of these things can start with L. And Evan Lanier, your last name starts with an L. So all of these things, 4 things to consider, guys, when booking your wedding venue. First thing is layout. Tell us what's up, Evan.
So I think the space is a big deal because you need to know, does the space that the venue has for what you want to do there accommodate your people?
Yeah.
Are you going to have 300 people in a room that doesn't accommodate 300 people? Are you going to have 25 people in a room that accommodates 300 people? So I think evaluating the space. Is the ceremony space big enough? Is the getting ready space big enough? Is the reception space big enough for what you want to do? Or is it the right size? When I say big enough, like you might want to have a lot of people, but you may not have a lot of people. You may have a small wedding, intimate weddings. I've done tons of those, and they're great too. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just finding what fits. And I think considering the space, the venue may have all the visual things that you like, but if it doesn't fit the space, if the space doesn't fit, then it's just going to make more stress for the day.
Absolutely.
Do they have enough parking for people to come? I think one thing I have noticed, a lot of this is from our experience shooting. It's not just how would I book a wedding venue, but how have I seen it affect the wedding day? Yeah. One thing visually, as a creative, like I go into a getting ready room, bride's getting ready room to film or to take photos, and if the room's small and you've got a huge wedding party, then it just gets filled with, let's say, clutter. There's just stuff everywhere. Yeah. It happens when there's people coming in and getting ready, but we're taking photos and videos so all the time. I'm having to hey, we need to clean this area up, and we're having to move stuff from side to side. Is there a place to put that kind of stuff that's out of the way so you're not trashing up the room, for lack of a better term, lack of better words? Is the space, well, you have a DJ or whatever, a band or whatever you're having, is there a space for that? Right. I think that kind of thing is one of the first things to consider when you're looking at a venue, is the fit, but just the space and the layout of how that is. Absolutely. Is huge.
It makes a big difference because we've heard the phrase like time is money, like just in general, time is money. And on your wedding day, time is money because your photographer and videographer are oftentimes hourly. It's like, hey, this is whether it's a 6, 8, 10-hour day package that you booked, like they're paying for that time. And the layout will affect everything else because if the ceremony and reception spaces and getting ready are all like a mile apart, which sometimes it feels like they are, maybe they're only just like 0.2 miles away, but you have to do a big journey on golf carts, multiple golf cart rides to get to the next place. It can set you back time-wise, and that time is money.
And the thing with that, too, I think places that have that kind of space are great, and it's an option. I think it's just to know the expectations, to have the expectations, to know what's going to be there, right? So that you can plan to use the space well and the layout. So just because there are getting ready spaces on 2 sides of a 100-acre property is not necessarily a bad thing.
Right.
But when you know, okay, I've got these things going on and this space fits what I like, I need to adjust my timeline to work with those things. So I'm not having my photographer here and then there and then here and then there, back and forth. Utilizing the space, finding the space that fits, but also working with your timeline and your schedule for the day to accommodate that space. Yes. Knowing how to utilize all the things that the venue has to offer.
Totally. And before we move on from this one, there's 3 more to cover, but with the layout, Evan, you talked about how you don't love to do things cookie cutter. So if you've seen that some other photographer or videographer has done sunset footage or photos at this one particular place, at this venue over and over again, you're going to try to find a different way to do it because you don't want it all to look the same.
Having different available locations is huge for me. I can steer away from, if I look at Instagram and see a venue and every photo from through a feed of searching on that website, on that venue's feed, or not the venue's feed, but just like a searching for the venue for posts. If I see the same photo, essentially, then I steer away from shooting that same thing.
Right.
And so seeing a variety of things, space, not just being an inside space, but an outside space.
Yeah.
You know, do they have, what kind of options do they have for sunset photos? Where do you want to take sunset photos? What kind of space do they have? Is it natural? Is it more urban? Different things like that. Yeah, that's definitely a huge thing to give variety and flexibility.
Totally. I love, as for the layout, I love venues that make it easy to transition from ceremony to reception. Mm-hmm. As a DJ and entertainer, having that connection there, there's actually multiple venues featured here on the Wedding Venues official page where it shows how easy it is to go from ceremony to reception. I do like Ridgepoint and Oak Meadow, how they connect seamlessly from ceremony to reception. Literally, you just step on over to the other section and it's like, boom, I'm here in reception. Especially for older guests, by the way. Again, we're going to talk about this on logistics a little bit too. But the layout, it's a good experience for your guests themselves. Now, as a creator, which you are, Evan, and I am too, it's like finding those different angles, and like, you love adventure. Your whole brand is on like adventure film. So you're like, let's go on a hike and let's go off a bluff or something, you know, let's go skydiving. I'm just kidding. I don't know if you've ever gone skydiving with a couple, probably not.
I've done skydiving.
Okay, you'll have to do that someday. But like with your guests, the layout is so important, because for those older guests or someone with disabilities, being able to easily go from just literally simply from the ceremony to reception, it not being a hike, it being convenient, is such a plus.
And I think one of the benefits of the Wedding Venues channel is you can see those things in perspective. So it's not just a photo of the ceremony space and a photo of the reception space.
Right.
They could be 300 yards apart through a field.
Right.
But you don't know that. But when we're filming it, you're seeing things as it transitions from piece to piece.
Totally.
So you can see the flow of what it would be like for your guest or for you to go through and see how, okay, I'm having my ceremony here, I'm having my reception here, or I may be having my ceremony in that building and I'm gonna have my reception in this building.
Right.
How does that look and how does that space feel? And so what's the layout of the property and what's the layout of the buildings?
Totally.
That makes a huge difference to be able to see those things in perspective, not just one shot of one and one shot of the other independently.
100%. And I think there's beauty in having a structure and a template in place, because if you don't have any structure or template in place to envision your day, it's not going to go well anyway. So we're not against the template and the structure of the venue itself.
Yeah.
But you do want to be creative, and there's tons of ways to be creative. There's tons of vendors that will come and decorate your venue and transform it in a whole different way.
Personalize it for sure.
Bring in furniture, extra lighting.
Yep.
All kind of drapery that covers the walls.
And the creator that you're using for photo and video and everything too, the perspective is going to be different for each person, whoever that is.
Totally, man. Totally.
My films are going to look different than your films.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. They feel different for sure, man. 3 more things. I guess I want to go ahead and list them all out so everyone knows.
Okay.
So the next 2 things, it's going to be lighting is number 2, logistics number 3, location number 4. They're not in any order. It's layout, lighting, logistics, location. Let's talk about lighting, which is everything.
So this is from a perspective, from a photo video perspective.
Yes, from photo video.
I mean,
and DJ.
And DJ too.
And DJ,
like if you're DJing a wedding in the middle of the day, and you don't have any, like you're out in the middle of the day, you wouldn't want to.
Right.
It's not the same feel as dark when you can manipulate the light.
Yes,
so,
100%.
As a creator, as a photographer and a videographer, the lighting is everything. And to be natural light, when I say lighting, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about fluorescence or fake lighting. I'm talking about natural light. For me, something that I would encourage people to consider is, what does the natural light look like in the space that you're going to be spending the most time in, and places that you want to take photos and things like that. Like, so getting ready, is it in a closet somewhere, or is it in a place with big windows, or at least some windows that have some natural light? Is your ceremony, if it's outside, that's great, but consider what time of day you're going to be having the wedding and where the sun will be, and what time of the year it's going to be. Because I've had couples that have had weddings in early November, and I'll be talking to them in the spring, and we'll be talking about early November, and we're like, oh, sunset's probably like 6:30, because it's, like, that's after daylight savings time started.
Yeah.
And you Google the time, sunset at your location, on the date. because
Yes.
in Alabama it varies greatly. So a summer wedding, have a late sunset, and in early November, we forget that the sun goes down at 4:30. So it's figuring that out, but also where will the sun be? Midday. I've had weddings in the summertime, in the middle of the day, in the bright sunlight, in a field, and the guests are miserable.
Yeah.
In the heat of the day. So figuring out lighting for ceremony for outside, figuring out lighting for ceremonies inside. A lot of places will have ceremonies inside in the summer, or just inside because the space works for convenience, or it doesn't have. It's not dependent on weather.
Right.
So is that space full of light? Is it big? We talked about that in layout, but a big open space with extra room to move around. As a creative, like if I have space to move around the sides and down the aisle if I need to, or wherever, instead of being crammed where I have to be stuck in the back, or in a balcony or something like that, it's a lot harder than when I have space to move around. So when there's lighting that lights up the whole room, it just makes everything look better.
Totally.
And then getting ready, like I'm always going to put someone near a window or use natural light. Complexion of your skin looks better with natural light. So I'm always going to utilize that. So anytime I'm somewhere with people getting ready, or even for portraits or anything like that, I'm always going to try to utilize that natural light. Consider lighting in your venue selection.
Yes. Bright lighting. Even if you like the warmer tone, even if you like darker, warmer edits, as if you want your photos to be dark.
Still want natural light.
You still want natural light.
You don't want overhead fluorescence coming in.
Yes, exactly. That's a big thing. I don't think people realize that too. So that's,
I've shot weddings before where we're inside this space and the decorations are nice and everything, but the light is just fluorescent. That's all the light there is, and that doesn't lend itself to the best images.
Yes.
From a creative perspective.
Right.
And sometimes looking at that, when you're just looking, like checking out the space, it looks nice, but then there's no light. And so you consider that, and not say don't pick the venue because the lighting doesn't work, but think where can I do things differently? Maybe they have a couple of ceremony options, and one's inside and one's outside with natural light.
Yeah.
Maybe choose the one that would be outside versus the inside and do something else on the inside.
Totally.
Things like that to manage the expectations well.
Totally.
And to know if you have a dream or vision of what you want your wedding visuals to look like, think through that as you choose your venue so that they work well together.
Yes. I will say from the DJ perspective, talking about lighting, I've had receptions start an hour before sunset, like the dancing portion of
Right.
30 minutes to an hour before the actual sunset, and it's just kind of the sun's getting lower, but it's still pretty bright outside. And when you start to play dance music when it's still bright outside, it's hard to really engage with that. It doesn't feel the same. When that sun is down, my lighting looks a lot better. My dance lighting looks a lot better with the haze and everything going. It's great. Being inside a venue, it just feels different. And when you have a venue that has dimmers, good dimmers, you can dim it a little bit during dinner and whatnot. It kind of gets the vibe. Or you just kill it all. I like that part of the night when we're about 30 minutes in and then we just flip to something crazy and then the lights cut out. It's like an energy just totally.
You use your lights then.
Yeah, just use just the DJ lighting, and it makes a big difference. We could probably make a whole other video about lighting during the reception and what to do and what not to do for coordinating with DJ's photo and video, because I know obviously for first dances you want clean, simple, almost nothing. I do just straight white, on the dance floor, just to white, just to light it up. Definitely don't want colored lights and lasers and all kind of craziness until maybe later in the night. But yeah, the lighting is so important to how it feels in the room for DJing. Also, like the acoustics of that and the layout. I've been to some places where notoriously they'll ask me to turn it down a little bit, and it's not that it's it's not louder coming out of my mixer. Like, it's still the same amplitude that I'm giving out on a lot of other venues, but it's because of the acoustics in that room.
It's echoey.
It's more hard surface, and there's like the tin roof, and like it's like you're inside of a trash can, so you need everything like half volume because it just feels, and that affects the feel and the vibe of everything.
A big space with a lot of people is good. A big space with a few people is not always good.
Right.
Unless it's outside.
Absolutely. Another thing with lighting though, do you think it matters as much about the actual lighting or more about the actual photographer, videographer doing?
Yeah, so I mean, I think lighting plays a huge factor in your creative's ability to create like great visuals. It does matter for the actual like guest attendance and stuff like that too, to have a enjoyable experience and a beautiful visual experience while they're there. The lighting matters, natural lighting, how the lighting is set up, and things like that. Like that matters. But for the visuals, as far as photo and video, it's huge. I won't say it makes or breaks a film, but the beauty of the film, or the beauty of the photos, the lighting plays a huge part. It's all dependent on who's shooting. So if you have bad lighting, a person who knows how to manipulate the light and how to handle the situation is going to come in and adjust the lighting, often turn off lights. A lot of times there's overheads that are orange. It's going to turn off lights, going to use the natural light, open up the windows, open up the blinds, whatever that is.
Right.
I'm going to change the situation to make the lighting at least better than it was when I walked in the room.
Yeah.
Sometimes the space having more options, it's a lot better than a space with one tiny window and the rest is just brown walls with orange overheads versus a room with a wall of windows.
Have you ever had a bride that was so set on a certain thing, but the lighting was so bad there? Have you ever had a situation?
I think this goes back to expectations. So I think the hard thing for couples to do, especially for brides, is they see a video. I've had many who have seen a video that I've done or seen photos that I've done, and they're like, I love this wedding. I love what you did with this wedding or these couple of weddings. And they're like, I want this. This is what I love. This is what I like. But then their day looks nothing like that. So whether that's the venue, the events of the day, the personality of the couple, the decorations and the decor, whatever that may be.
Right.
The time of year they did it, the personality of not the personality of the couple, but the things that the couple likes to do.
Yeah.
So I think you want your film, you want your video, you want your film, you want your photos to be unique and personalized for you.
Yeah.
So I think when you say they are so set on a thing, don't try to speaking to a couple, don't try to make something you've seen forced into your day.
Right.
Let it be unique. Let it be personal. Take ideas from other people and other things that have happened, but don't get so set that this has got to happen that it can make or break your day if it doesn't happen the way you envisioned it.
Right.
I think that hurts a lot of times because things go wrong. Wedding days, things change. Schedules have to change. People don't get there on time. Things happen. So I think if you have something that you're so intent that this is the way it's got to happen, and if it doesn't happen exactly that way, it could ruin your day. That's too much weight put on that one thing.
Right. Totally.
So I would say, don't have anything that's that important.
Okay, we're moving on. 2 more things to consider. Let's talk about logistics, man.
I think one of the biggest things to consider, and I have had, I won't say wedding days ruined, but greatly impacted because of logistical things.
And this is where the good wedding planner comes in, right?
It makes a big difference, but the venue too, you've got to set your expectations. I'm not going to say that one venue has it figured out better than the other venue necessarily, but you got to know going in what the logistical things are. The biggest thing would be rain.
Yeah.
Are you going to have your ceremony outside, which I love outdoor ceremonies, but if it's rainy, what are you going to do? What does the venue have built in that is a rain plan?
Right.
Go ahead and figure that out before the wedding day so you know when I'm booking this venue, this is where I want to have my ceremony. But if we get here the day of and it's raining, am I okay with the other ceremony spot? Or is it we've got this beautiful spot for a ceremony, but if it's raining, you're going to be behind the building under some umbrellas. I've had so many weddings that I feel like the rain plan existed, but it was so poor visually compared to what selection A was.
Yes.
I really hated it for the couple because they spent all this time and effort and money into having this dream wedding and this beautiful day, and then the option they had for the rain, just because of rain, doesn't mean you have to have a ugly space set up for the ceremony or for the reception.
Right.
It just means we need to think ahead. If there's rain, what do we do?
Yes.
I think logistically that's the biggest thing. We talked a little bit like layout, but like getting to and from the venue. So I've had venues where parking is right next to the venue. I've had some venues where parking is a long ways from the venue and they have to shuttle you back and forth. One of the things too with logistics would be food. Like how are you preparing the food? How is your catering or whoever's preparing your food? How are they preparing the food?
Right.
How are your guests being served? What's going to be happening during the time that maybe you're taking photos for sunset? Say, for instance, most weddings will take sunset portraits after the ceremony, typically family photos. Sometimes we don't do a first look too. And so what's going on during that time? What are the people going to be doing? Where will they be hanging out? Are they going to be able to go into the reception space?
Totally.
Or are they going to be out like at a cocktail hour outside? Or are they going to be just hanging out while you're taking photos? If you're not taking photos at that time, where are things happening? So just thinking through like, it's similar to layout, but it's different because it's more the movement of people and the movement of the guests, the movement of your wedding party, the movement of the bride and groom. Like where are things happening?
Totally.
And how is it going to all work together?
Totally. I cannot stress enough about how a good wedding planner, coordinator can make a huge difference in the success of your day, or it could just completely ruin some flow of everything. It always depends. And I want to talk about this a little bit about the flow from ceremony to reception.
Things happen every wedding.
Ebb and flow.
I almost say I've never had a wedding day that everything went on time and everything went exactly as planned.
Right.
And you can expect things to go exactly as you planned and be wrecked when they go wrong. Mm-hmm. Or you can make a plan and then be flexible.
Yes.
And be willing to adjust a little thing and not worry about the things that are going to change.
Right.
And just plan for it. And that's where I think a planner or coordinator helps a ton, is because they can manipulate things when things get off time or get different than you had planned.
The out-of-town weddings are some of the best, because I've gone to Colorado for my buddy's wedding, and there were like 80 of us there, and it was great because we all flew out there. We were all going to be staying. Yeah, that was my time to visit, and it was great. There were hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and no one was wondering what was going on. No one was checking their phone. No one was watching a football game wanting to get back home. No one was near home. We were all at a destination wedding. Yeah. We were there the whole duration because we were out of town and everyone was staying locally right there. If you have it locally in your hometown, people are more apt to leave earlier because it's easier just to get back.
I would say it's even worse when you're a little bit farther from your hometown, but not right in, like if it's an hour away.
Oh, there's a cutoff point, yeah.
Because people even leave early. If you're so far away that you have to like stay over or whatever, if you're at like near home where most of your people and family and friends are coming from, like your hometown, they may only have a 15 or 20, 30 minute drive. But if you like go somewhere and you pick your venue, and we're going to get into this, the next one is location. I think that's a big thing. If you're having your ceremony maybe 2 hours away from where most of your people are coming from, they're going to want to leave fairly early, versus if you had it really near your house or really near your home where all your family's coming from. They may stay the whole night because they only got a 30-minute drive.
Totally.
If you're going out of town, that's great. If you're going to have a destination wedding somewhere else, then it's kind of the same thing. They're going to be staying there.
Absolutely.
They're not going to leave early. But if it's 2 hours away from where most of your people are coming from, it's going to be hard to keep them there, especially your family or maybe older family and friends. You may have friends with kids or something like that that are older, who are not going to want to stay. Mm-hmm. And so just knowing, like setting your timeline, adjusting your expectations is, I think, the biggest thing. It's not you can't do this.
Right.
Just think through this so you can adjust your expectations.
Totally.
So that when you set your timeline and set your plan for the day, that you know these things are going to be a factor.
You do a lot of smaller weddings, elopement style weddings. You love those.
I've done from 2 to 500, weddings with 2 people to 500 people.
And on average, I'm doing a lot of weddings that are 200 to 300 people, sometimes 150 people. Every now and then 100 people or less, but it's usually a room full of a few hundred people. And that's a lot of people to get through for food. Yep. Especially if it's a plated dinner, you need a big catering staff to serve the plated dinner. But if you're going to be going through a buffet line, there needs to be a good amount of time for 300 people to get through a line. I love caterers that set up 2 tables and double-sided, and there's 4 lines going on at once, And you can get 300 people in less than 30 minutes when you have
Yeah.
2 tables and double-sided. You should vet your caterers, by the way. You should ask them about that. Like, I have this many people. Of course, they're going to charge you per plate, so it matters about that for the pricing. But then also ask about, are you guys serving this, or are they self-serving? And is it double-sided or is it one-sided? I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. And as a DJ, I see that all the time. Another thing, we are going to move on. I'm just saying, from my perspective, if you have a large wedding of like 200 or 300 people, I would say nix the cocktail hour, because if photographers, videographers take the couple away for sunset, which sometimes you guys go off with them for like 45 minutes, and I'm like, where are the couple? They should have been back 15 minutes ago. But if they're going to go on this adventure session right after ceremony and keep 200 people waiting, go ahead and let them go through the line. I say nix the cocktail hour because we don't need it. They're going to be tired and more antsy and whatever. Go ahead and just send them through the line, because even if you don't have the double-sided whatever, it might even take them 45 minutes to get through the line comfortably. And then by the time the couple's done, they can have a little snack or have a private dinner for 10 minutes or something. And then as soon as they come in, first dances, cut the cake, then get to dancing. That's my ideal wedding flow, bro, on this logistics thing. 4 things to consider is ceremony, nix the cocktail hour, have the bar open if you want, but send people through the line. Those people who aren't going through the line, you can go through the bar first. And then couple do a 20, 30-minute session with family, friends, whatever. And then immediately come in, do first dances, cake, mingle for a little bit, and hopefully it's dark by then, and then start dancing for the rest of the night.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the day, on the schedule. Like early ceremony, late ceremony, when is your ceremony? You never want to do your ceremony at sunset.
Right.
You want to do your ceremony earlier than sunset, I would say, almost all the time.
Yes.
So that you can take photos during sunset. That's the best time to take photo and video.
100%.
I'm fine with cocktail hour sometimes. Like, it depends. I'm fine if they do cocktail hour while we're gone doing photos and video, because it keeps sometimes family photos have to happen during that time.
Right.
Which usually, depending on the size of the family, can take a while. If there's no first look, there's full bridal party, there's bridal individual portraits and stuff that we want to take. Sometimes we go to a different location on the space, and so I think having a cocktail hour is fine to keep have some hors d'oeuvres and things like that for the guests to kind of have things to do, but they're not just sitting in the reception just like looking at their watch. I've had receptions that they've gone to the reception and basically like just hung out.
Yeah.
They're like just checking their watches all the time. Where's the couple? And we get back and they're like, where y'all been? We've been waiting on you. And it's like having something to keep them busy and entertained and intentional for them to be taken care of while you're gone.
Totally.
Is huge. I don't think you want to just leave your guest just hanging out to figure out what to do.
Absolutely.
Think about them as you think about what you're going to be doing as a couple.
100%.
So cocktail hours I think are fine for that, but then sometimes they can add to the schedule and it's too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
And then they don't stay for dancing.
Yeah, people leave early because you did too many things early.
Right.
So I think they're fine. It just depends on the
recent wedding, Evan. They actually the couple made awards for their guests, 11 different awards, printed it out and had a graphic for it with their name and everything, and had little chocolate gifts for them. And so during cocktail hour, about midway through, I said, "Hey guys, we got some awards to give away," and everyone was like, "What's going on?" And they were listening, and it was funny. It was like the first person to RSVP, the last person to RSVP,
that's cool.
The best gift giver.
See, that kind of stuff's great because it keeps them entertained and they're not like wondering what's going on.
Exactly.
And it puts some activity in there.
Absolutely. And it did take some effort from the couple.
Yeah.
But
intentionality
really nice.
is huge though.
Yeah, the intentionality is so cool. Okay, anyway, we need to move on because I want to get some planners on here. We're going to talk more about logistics, but okay, last thing.
Yeah, you could go through logistics and logistics of the venue, but also just logistics of how you do the day. Like
I know,
yeah,
right?
But location is definitely
it's so nuanced, right? Because you got to start with your priorities,
right?
To know your logistics.
Correct. But location is huge.
Okay, yeah. Fourth and final thing, location.
So location. We talked about this a second ago a little bit, but you've got to know where you're having the wedding. I mean, it matters where you have it as far as where are your people coming from.
Right.
Do you have people coming from, are you both from the same town? Are you from different towns? Are you from different states or different sides of the country? All that matters. And I think thinking through that, if you're going to have a wedding here, like with a lot of the venues we've got featured weddings venues in East Central Alabama, they're all in the general region, but they're not all right next to each other. I would say that having a wedding, if you're both from the same town and most of your guests are coming from that town or close to it, having a wedding right there, more will stay later. If you are to go 2 hours away and have a wedding at that venue, most of your guests with families or older guests are going to want to leave even earlier than if you were at home, because they're going to want to get on the road before too late, for the most part.
Yes.
So having it closer sometimes is better, or have it way far away where people will spend the night. If you're having like a destination wedding, if you're from, maybe I've had couples who, thinking of like venues here in the area, like couples who went to school here, but all their family, maybe they went to Auburn or Alabama or UAB or something like that, and their family all is from 2 different states somewhere else, but they want to have their wedding here because they've settled in Alabama or something like that.
Right.
So it's not nearly a destination wedding, but all their folks are coming from another location.
Yes.
Picking that location, finding a place that has near lodging.
Yes.
Does it have, is it accessible to like an airport? How close are you to an airport? Are you having people come flying in? If you're local and you're having all local wedding, that stuff doesn't matter as much, but there's things to consider when you're picking the venue.
100%.
Location, what is it? The 3 most important things in real estate are location.
Yeah, right.
So like, it's not that the location is the only thing that matters, but there are things that do come into play when you start thinking of those things. Like maybe you've got a lot of friends coming in. You're in a town that all your people are coming from, that you've got a group of friends that are from college or something like that you went to out of state. Where are they going to stay? What does the venue have place for your wedding party to stay overnight?
Right.
Do they have place for your family to stay? If they don't, where will they stay? What's the nearest town?
Yes.
What's the nearest hotel? What kind of setup is that? Is there you need to get an Airbnb? Are there Airbnbs close for your wedding party to stay the night before? Where are you having a rehearsal dinner? Are you having a rehearsal at the wedding? Or at the venue? How are you getting back and forth? Is that location where you're having your actual rehearsal and the like dinner? Like thinking through that stuff. Some of the venues are great. They're right in the town. They're close to things. Some venues are out there and they're not close to anything.
Right.
And so that's great if you want to have kind of a rural type setting. Just think through that stuff.
Yes, 100%.
As you're planning all the stuff around it.
100%. And a lot of these venues that are featured on the page so far, Evan, are in the middle of nowhere, Alabama.
Hey, I live in the middle of nowhere. So.
You do. There's no cell service
I have
at
to
your
think
house.
when I have to get gas. Yeah.
So, okay, that's another thing about location is there is no cell service in a lot of these venues. Like legit, there is no cell service. The amount of times when I show up to a venue and they're like, by the way, there's no cell service, and they're so accurate. I have Verizon. My buddy, he has T-Mobile, and he actually T-Mobile. But we're not sponsored, of course, by T-Mobile or anything. But T-Mobile literally has better service in the middle of nowhere than Verizon or AT&T. I'm telling you. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but my buddy who has T-Mobile, he always has better service in the middle of nowhere. All that to say, for your wedding venues, from a DJ perspective, well, for one thing, all of your music should be downloaded. That's non-negotiable. Ceremony, all your first dances, all your special stuff, everything should be totally downloaded, ready to go.
And I would say, if you have a band,
oh yeah,
and they are playing a song for your first dance, they have to download it, no matter where they're going.
Absolutely.
But I've had bands who have.
You need to.
The band plays the music for this wedding, but then the first dances are a recorded, pop song or whatever.
Right.
And they're like, have their phone plugged into the thing to play that song, and the music wasn't downloaded because the Wi-Fi wasn't working or the cell site. Like,
yes.
You've got to, whether it's your DJ or a band or whoever, if it's your friend.
It's your friend.
If it's your friend, you have no DJ and you got a buddy playing some music for your first dance.
Yes.
It's got to be saved on the phone.
100%.
You can turn it on airplane mode and still play.
Yes.
That's the only way.
Absolutely.
Because it will not be there.
Absolutely.
But when you need it, more often than not, it's not there. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I always download my music. Always. The only caveat with that is music is so fluid. There's always new music.
Yep.
So when you get to reception and there's a good flow, the best receptions are those that are just, we're flowing. I already have a must play list and a do not play list, and I already know exactly what the bride and groom want and love, but there's still some nuance. With 200 people, there's some ebb and flow. There can be people that love this and then other people that love this, and so you mix it up. That's the beauty of a good DJ, good band, that kind of thing. Their playlist, what can they do? that you just got to realize, you're not going to have a lot of service. And so
Checking to make sure the venue has Wi-Fi or whatever is big.
Yes, that's a big
something. Again, just expectations is a huge thing. Because like where we got married, there was no cell service where we were. There was no cell service at the ceremony space. We had to shuttle our people to the ceremony. We didn't get married at a traditional venue. It was at a camp where my wife had worked. But still, it was, we knew there was no cell phone service, but we made arrangements to accommodate. We had radios when we were like shuttling people back and forth.
Yeah.
So just, some people love the fact that some places don't have cell phone service or it's more rural. I think that's great. I don't think there's you got to have cell service or you don't, or you need to be in the city or you don't need to be, or you need to be out in the rural area. It's just a matter of setting your expectations and knowing, I think, what the things we're talking about, all the logistics and the location and the layout and the lighting thing. Like, it's not that we're saying you got to go to this venue because they have this and this venue has this and they don't, like, or this venue has this and this venue doesn't have this.
Right.
It's just a matter of things to consider. Consider all these things and adjust your priorities and your needs and the things that you like, and make sure that the things that you want to do and the things that you want to have work in that space.
Right.
And everybody's going to be different. It's going to be unique for each person.
And communication is key. Sometimes there are game day decisions that need to be made. And if your coordinator's at the venue and there are other vendors that need to contact the coordinator and she has no cell signal at all,
make sure they have Wi-Fi.
Make sure they have Wi-Fi. Make sure they're connected. That can be a big thing, and I've seen it happen before. Or sometimes when you're trying to communicate as a DJ, with your planner, hey, like, there's a delay in the ceremony. Like we're running a little bit behind because they're golf carting from the getting ready space, and it looks like we're going to be about 5 or 10 minutes like starting, and they text you that, but you don't get it because you're in the middle of nowhere or whatever. That makes a little bit of a difference. Obviously the vendor team, some of them will have walkie-talkies because that's what they do, and they have little earpieces or whatever, because they know what's going on. But for the outside vendor coming in, you use your cell phone, you use your texting, but you can't get the communication. So all these things to consider. Maybe the fifth L would be landline. Get a landline. Consider that. No. Anyway.
Yep.
But yeah, those are some things to consider. There's a lot of things to consider. Once you get to talking about it, it just never ends. And I think too, as a big piece of advice to couples, as we're wrapping up this video, I know this has been this is longer than I expected, Evan, but glad you guys are here. If you made it to the end of the video, congratulations. And if you've enjoyed it, please comment on YouTube as well. If you've enjoyed this conversation, there's so much nuance to this, and there's so much more that we could say, but maybe we'll make some more videos.
And we're taking this into kind of in the wedding venues idea.
Yes.
But we've been both shooting or DJing weddings for years. Mm-hmm. And I've seen so many different couples, and I've seen so many wedding days that have gone so well, and I've seen other wedding days that could have gone well, but there were one or two things that just set it off,
right?
And it turned it into a miserable day, or I wouldn't say miserable day, but the couple was miserable because those one or two things that they had their mind set on didn't go as they had planned. And I think the wedding day would have been fine, but because there was so much priority or emphasis put on those one or two things that didn't go as planned, it kind of just was a slippery slope, and it got it made the day hard for them because those things didn't go as expected.
Totally. And a big thing too with couples that I see from a DJ perspective is it's funny because I DJ a lot of weddings throughout the year, and I try to bring the same type of energy, same type of skill level, similar lighting and technique and things like that. Obviously, there's new music, so it's fun to mix in and out, do different transitions, do fun things creatively with audio, but really it's about reading the room, reading the vibe, reacting to it. Yep. And as far as the actual dancing portion of the night, which you want to ebb and flow. As soon as you see people kind of losing the vibe of the song, that's when we transition out. That's when we get going. But the number one thing, no matter how much we're talking about beat matching, we're talking about lighting effects, we're talking about when the beat drops in and out, that kind of thing, these vocals, scratching, all these fun things we do for mixing and DJing and song selection and everything. Beyond all of that, which is fun to talk about, is the couple themselves. Like, and this goes for photo and video too, if the couple is on the dance floor, both of them, bride and groom, and they're having an amazing time, 9 times out of 10, if they are absolutely jamming to everything we're playing, they're not going off taking more photos, they're not going hanging out at the bar for a while, they're not,
sitting down
talking with their
outside.
grandma for 20 minutes, which you need to talk to your grandma. You need to have a hug and a kiss with your grandparents. Not saying that, but when they're on the dance floor, no one's coming up for requests. No one's asking if I can do something different. But the second they leave and people are kind of like wondering where the bride and groom is, my point here is life's what you make it. You make the wedding day. I feel like the bride and groom, you guys are in control of the day more than anybody else. I mean, and the days when the bride or the bride's mom or whoever is really micromanaging everything is usually one of the most stressful things, because vendors can't do their jobs as best as they could. I feel like the best days are when the bride and groom fully trust the vendors. They've chosen the vendors because they do the work that they do. And you as a videographer, if you suggest, hey, let's go out on the porch for this thing,
They
then
trust in you to
they
do the
trust,
best, make the best decision.
Yeah, same thing for audio things. Like, okay, like if you think blah 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 blah, this is great, but there's so much nuance to it. But it's like when you book your venue, when you book your planner, when you book your photographer, videographer, DJ, whoever, you trust that they are going to do the very best thing that they know how to do.
And I would say, to add on to that, just because everybody else does it doesn't mean you have to do it. And just because nobody else does it doesn't mean you can't do it.
Come on.
So I would say every wedding doesn't need a DJ.
Yeah, totally.
Every wedding doesn't need a band.
Yep. I've DJ'd a few weddings that didn't need a DJ.
Yeah, it's a meeting that should have been email. So, I feel like every wedding doesn't need a photographer. When I said, we'll talk about this later, but I think when we talk about photo and video, I don't think every wedding needs a photographer.
Are you serious?
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think every
Evan,
wedding.
come on. Every wedding needs a photographer.
No, I don't think so.
Why
I don't
not?
think so. I think
You just want it to be a memory in your brain. For
no.
those who are-
I think there are I think hiring a professional photographer, hiring a great photographer, is very important. But I don't think every wedding needs a photographer. I think sometimes people want to have a super low budget wedding, and they're like, well, I need to hire a photographer. You got to have a photographer. So I'm going to hire somebody who is inexperienced, really doesn't know what they're doing, may be able to take a few good photos and post them on Instagram, but they don't know what they're doing on a wedding day.
Oh, no.
We could actually make the wedding day harder because of scheduling, when you could actually just have a friend with a phone and take phone photos. If it's a priority for you, hire somebody that's professional, that does a good job, and is going to take amazing images. If having great images is not that high a priority, and it's more important for you to spend very little money, and you just want to have a few, get a friend with a phone to take some photos and give them to you.
Right.
I think it's the same thing with the DJ. Like you say, you had some weddings. I think I had some friends that got married and they didn't have a DJ. We just had a sound system. They had iTunes at the time or whatever playing some music, and they'd skip through stuff. I think it's the same thing. I think sometimes we say, so many people, and I'm gonna say this. I'll say, even you don't have to book a venue. You might want to have a wedding in your grandparents' backyard. That's fine.
Yeah.
So just because it's the thing that we have to do, I got married in 2009, and I'd shot one wedding at that point. I'd been to a few weddings. I was not the first one to get married.
I was just in middle school then,
right?
bro.
I wasn't the first one to get married in my friend group, but I was one of the early ones. And I didn't know what the things to do at a wedding were. We didn't have a first dance. We didn't have any dancing, honestly, at our wedding. We had a band that came. Long story, but it wasn't what we thought. It wasn't the music that we thought we were going to have. So
No.
So the music we didn't dance. There was no dancing. It was just like music for us to hang out. There was like band playing some like instrumental stuff, but we didn't have any dancing, and we didn't have we didn't like first dances or anything like that. But I didn't know that was the thing you're supposed to do. We didn't know. It wasn't important to us.
Yeah.
So we didn't do that. We did have a photographer. Didn't have a videographer at the time. I regret that decision. It would have been a priority had I known about it. I had a friend that shot some video, and I'm thankful that we got the video that we have. but it was unintentional, and I just didn't. I didn't put a priority to that. I didn't know about it at the time. I wasn't doing it at the time either, and so I think setting your expectations and prioritizing the things that matter, and not worrying about the things that don't matter. As a photographer, videographer, I think I would definitely say that for me, priority, photo and video are very high priority. And I would suggest to couples that should be a very high priority.
Yeah.
But every couple doesn't have the same mindset. And so I would say, don't do it just because everybody in your friend group did it.
Exactly. I love that point. I think that's probably the best thing on this whole video is what you just said there. But I DJ'd 2 weddings in Nashville this past year, and they, 2 of these, well, I've done a good bit in Nashville, but 2 in particular, the couple met doing line dancing in Nashville, which is a big thing in Nashville. Like you go do a lot of line dancing at these bars or venues or whatever. And so 2 couples actually met at line dancing. And so with that, I'd say, definitely need a good DJ, because they're like, we can't wait to get to dancing because we met, and like in their ceremony, the officiant's like, they met line dancing. And then like during the toast and the speeches, they mentioned their friends and the line dancing. Also, it's like it's like as the DJ, this is like prime time. Right. This is like, let's go. So like that's what is, you have those certain curated moments where it's like, this is your time to shine. This is the moment. So anyway, totally.
When I have couples that call me and they've seen my work, and I'm like, the couples that see the work that I do that have similar tastes and similar style, and they're like, they don't hire me because they want me to turn their different style into what I do.
Right.
They have a similar style, and they want me to capture that in a similar way that I have other people. It's unique, but it's similar.
Yeah.
Photo is the same thing. Like perspective of the vendor is a huge thing, and finding the right venue, finding the right planner who's going to work with you, finding the right DJ or the band or photographer, videographer, like all of that is important.
Yeah.
If it's important to you.
Right.
To find the right person. If that is way down your list and you don't even care about it, sometimes it would be better to not even have it.
Right.
Than it would to have somebody who you don't prioritize it, so you hire somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
Yes.
Then that low priority thing could then become a burden because you've hired somebody and now they're almost making the day harder.
100%. Yep. Absolutely. And I've seen that in the DJ world too. I see a lot of posts every year. We see posts like, hey, I don't think we're going to hire a DJ. I don't know if I'm going to regret this. Like, should we or should we not? I'm thinking just playing some music for just these certain moments. Like,
and we don't want to dance. So we don't, like, if you don't want to dance, don't hire a DJ.
Yeah, exactly. And almost every time someone posts about how they're debating whether or not they should have a DJ, almost always the answer is no, you shouldn't have a DJ.
Right.
You shouldn't hire a DJ. If you're even asking that, you probably just shouldn't have a DJ.
That's why I say about like kind of the same thing with photos. Like that's why I'm saying that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't take photos of your wedding day.
Right.
But we take phone photos of so many other things in life. Like if that's not a priority and you're debating, well, I don't want to spend the money, I would almost say like.
Yeah. And on the subject of venues, though, a lot of venues say they come with sound systems, and I don't recommend using the venue sound system.
As a videographer, when I do like rehearsal dinners and things, I actually provide a sound system.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Because I don't. Often rehearsal dinners are not at wedding venues. They're typically at like a restaurant or something like that.
Right.
Most of the time. And they have sound systems, which I usually don't trust. So
yeah.
I
Oak
provide
Meadow in Ohatchee, though, they do have good sound systems.
Yeah, there are some places that I've had sound systems that are good, but sometimes.
What I love about Oak Meadow, by the way, is they actually have a distributor, and they have a fin for their antenna to extend pointed directionally to where the lapel or at the stage. Which is great because a lot of times okay, this is a whole other video.
That's a whole other video.
But if you're not going to hire a DJ, just know that you might have sound issues because you're probably not going to have a pro audio guy running your ceremony, or maybe you will. Maybe hire a pro audio guy just for your ceremony.
Yeah. Or you have a small backyard
Small
wedding
one.
with 20 people, you don't need it.
You don't need it.
Like, it's
Right.
fine.
Right.
I think we have so many must-dos on a wedding day. It becomes like, I've got to do all these things because this is what a wedding looks like. And if it don't do these things, then it's not.
Right.
It's more about the union of the couple.
Yes.
And it's more about the commitment that's being made than all the extra stuff. All the extra stuff is great, but there's no problem. A wedding is just as valid if it's 3 people in the backyard, if it's genuine,
Right.
or 300 people at a huge party that's thousands and thousands of dollars. Like the actual wedding, the union is still just as valid. So I think
Totally.
there's no shame in doing a small wedding. There's no shame in doing a large wedding, or vice versa. There's no, do what fits you, do what fits your family and you as a couple. Make it yours, and don't think that, like I said, just because everybody has done it that you have to do it, and don't just think because nobody did it that you can't do that
100%.
thing differently. So
Love that, Evan.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for talking to me, man.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for being a part of this video. 4 things to consider when booking your wedding venue. What were they again?
Layout, lighting, logistics, and location.
Boom. Love it. I'm going to talk to a planner and have some planners on here too to talk about budgeting.
Yep.
How much do these vendors cost? How much do these venues cost? Like, what's the actual price tag to some of these things? And so hopefully we can kind of shed light to that.
I've done weddings that have been all in under $2,000.
Wow.
And I've done weddings that have been all in well over $500,000.
My
So
goodness.
there's so much, like you said, average, but
Yeah.
the spread is everywhere. And so there's
spread's
there's things you can do to fit any budget.
Totally, man.